Good evening, Niner fans. This is the legal tampering period eve, the night before legal tampering period starts Monday, tomorrow. And we got some big news tonight. If you guys haven't heard yet, Arik Armstead asked for his release, and the 49ers are going to release the longest tenured veteran captain, Arik Armstead, from the 49ers. Yeah, it's crazy. He decided to become a free agent. Apparently, they tried to reach a deal. This is the details have started to come out. According to Matt Mayoko, the 49ers and Armstead, they talked to each other about getting a pay cut, about taking a pay cut, right? Restructuring the deal. 49ers wanted to take a significant pay cut from his scheduled salary of $17.41 million. Armstead declined and he will become a free agent. So that's the big news of the night. Crazy big news. This is big time because now the 49ers are going into free agency with a big need at defensive tackle. Whether you like Armstead or not, whether you think he's good or not, this is a massive decision for the 49ers and Armstead and everybody involved because he was a great run stuffer. I know he missed games. Now you're going to have to really hope that some of these younger guys like Kalia Davis steps up and develops. Are they going to get Kevin Givens back? Will Javon Kinlaw come back? Hargrave is, another year. Is he going to become a big time presence in that line without Armstead? Because they needed each other. I'm not saying Hargrave is terrible. He was great. He was a good decision to sign last year, but he kind of fell apart last year, the hamstring injuries, and he needs a running mate. So they're going to go and get another defensive tackle, interior defensive lineman in this free agency, in the draft. It's going to really set up the draft, because Armstead was really good in the middle. I know he had some injuries here and there, but I think that was a big reason why the 49ers said, hey, look, we need to take a pay cut. You've had injuries these last 2 years, the plantar fasciitis, the meniscus tear, and he played through it. Like, I give Armstead so much credit for playing through the meniscus injury. Absolute dog for doing that. But you got to understand, like, at this point, a veteran, you've been on the team many years. You want to bring some of these players back. The Niners are going to ask you to take that pay cut. He doesn't have to. He's restructured his contract many times before, so he doesn't have to. But it's going to be expected when you have that many injuries and big contracts. $17 million due, and they wanted to shed it up a little bit. Unfortunately for the Niners, they couldn't come to an agreement. And now Armstead tests the market. He's going to become a free agent, and we'll see how it goes. I think that teams like Houston and New York will be first callers. They'll be right on the line. They got D'Amico Ryans, Robert Salah. They'll try to get him. They know how he is. They know how good he is. So we'll see. We'll see what the market looks like for Armstead. But the 49ers have to replace him. There's rumors that DJ Jones might be in the mix. Daniel Hunter might be in the mix. The draft is definitely somewhere where they're going to look for defensive tackle. Again, they have Kalia Davis. Can they bring back Kevin Givens and Hargrave or Kinlaw? We'll see. This is a big move. This is a big decision. Free agency is going to be fun, guys. But one thing you got to realize is Armstead is getting older. He was great in the playoffs, but can he continue to play through the regular season? I don't know. He has missed time in the regular season, back-to-back years, with again the plantar fasciitis and the meniscus injury. So I think the 49ers were sitting there saying, "Hey, look, you know what? Are you going to be able to get through the season?" Well, maybe they were going to do some incentives on his contract because, again, great player, but if he's not playing through the regular season, it becomes a risk now. The 49ers know how good he is in the playoffs, but at the same time, can you be on the team to help the team get to the playoffs? That's the big point. So now we're here the night before free agency, all through the house. A lot is stirring, and we have Armstead being released by the 49ers. Longest tenured Niner, boom, gone. Jimmy Ward last year, boom, gone. This year, Armstead, gone. And it's interesting to me that Armstead made it on this team for so long. And the fact that the 49ers kept him a couple years ago over Defoe tells you how much they really cared about this guy, which is surprising that he's being released. Because you remember, he was there during the era before John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, the bulky era, right? And when that new regime takes over, right, they're going to get rid of a lot of players. They're not going to keep many players. You're going to get rid of players on the team that have been there for years because you want to put your fingerprints on it. You want to make your team the way you want. Not a lot of players usually stay over. And for the 49ers, not a lot of them did. Armstead was one of the many older players, or sorry, not one of the many, one of the few older players from the old regime that stayed on this team. And he stuck with them. And then when it was time for him to get a contract, a new contract. They didn't trade him. They could have traded him. They traded DeForest Buckner. They really respected Armstead, and they kept him. He became a captain, and boom, it's a couple years later. Now we're here where we're at. So you got to realize they really liked Armstead over the years. He became a focal point on this defense in the locker room, and you got to realize how much the team respected him. Right? You remember last year when they had the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, and there was the video for Armstead. All the players in the locker room were like so happy about Armstead. Javon Kinlaw called him the blueprint. So it's going to be interesting this week. So let's take a look. How you guys feeling? I know I rambled about it, but that was kind of my thoughts on it. That's just what I'm, thinking right now, what's going through my head. 49ers, big release. They got to figure out defensive line coming forward. And, there's going to be a lot of rumors. There's a lot of rumors already. But how are we feeling today? My man Throwback says D'Amico and Salah will know he missed time, and I don't think they will pay him a lot of money. We'll see. I don't know if he's going to get a lot of money, because again, he was due for 17 million, and maybe he thinks he's going to be able to get more than what the 49ers were going to cut him down to. I don't know what the 49ers were going to cut him down to, but it did say a significant pay cut, and maybe Armstead says, hey, look, I know I could make more money in the free agent market than what you're going to give me. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't think the 49ers could have traded him for much, so I don't know if they really tried to trade him. I'm sure they asked him about that situation, but guy that's in his 30s, 10-year vet, you're not expecting to get much out of him in a trade. So I don't even think the 49ers kicked the tires on that. But again, more information will come out through the rest of the weeks and stuff. So Ray Holiday says he can go, always hurt. He doesn't produce. He's big tripping. Yeah, a lot of fans didn't like Armstead. I know a lot of fans did. I thought he was good. I thought he was an underrated player. I think he was a great run stuffer. But I do understand why people are frustrated when he got hurt a lot. And he's a big time in the defensive lineman. On the defensive line, he was a big time run stuffer. But it is, and when you're playing in the trenches, you're gonna get hurt. But hey, you're right. Absolutely, absolutely. Don't hate the opinion of a lot of Niner fans saying, hey, look, he was hurt a lot. And he was, he did battle through injuries early in his career and then these last couple of years. So I get it. You want a guy that's going to be out there and put some damn snaps on the field. And again, that's what I said is maybe the 49ers came to him and said, hey, look, are you going to be able to get through the season? You're coming off a major, major injury, a meniscus tear. So if Armstead doesn't get more value on the free agency market than what the 49ers are going to pay him, at the end of the day, he's going to be like, damn it, grass isn't always greener. But we'll see. Again, we don't know how much they wanted to cut him, but a significant cut, probably a lot, too much for his liking. And with the taxes in California, let me be the first to tell you, he probably was like, financially doesn't make sense to him. So, Shades, my man Shades is finally getting rid of a 6'8" dude who hasn't knocked down a pass in the last 5 years. Woo! Y'all spicy tonight. Tell him how you really feel. A lot of you guys don't like Armstead. JD says I could see him going to a division rival. Ooh, could you see him in like Seattle, neon green Seattle? Oh, or the Rams? Could you imagine Armstead on one of those teams? I would be sick to my stomach. Ian Sharp says Armstead cost himself money. I kind of agree. I kind of think that, you know what? The 49ers were going to cut his contract down. It sucks. I don't know if he's going to get a lot of money on the market because he is coming off 2 years of big injuries. Plantar fasciitis, that's a bad injury, and it's going to continue to linger. And he has a meniscus tear that he had to have surgery for. So it's not like he did have like just minor injuries. These were pretty big injuries. And plantar fasciitis can cause a lot of those knee issues he had because you're planting your foot in a weird position. It's putting strain on your knee, so you're putting your body in weird uh, positions really that you're not supposed to be in, shortens the muscle a little bit, and it causes a strain, and it could have caused an issue in his knee. So again, if he still has these plantar fasciitis issues, that's a long-term thing, and I don't know if that's really going to be something that teams are going to be happy about. So you're right, he might have just cost himself a big time bag, but the time will tell. um UYN says, do you see the Eagles try to sign him since Fletcher retired? Absolutely could see that. I definitely could see that. Fletcher Cox, big loss for the Eagles. He was a big time presence there, a legend there. And I think Armstead would be a guy that they'd try to bring in, a veteran, to kind of ease the loss of a guy like Fletcher Cox. He's good in the locker room. That's absolutely a smart take right there. I could see that happening. Absolutely, UI. Um, yeah, absolutely. My man Ray says 6'8" can't swat a ball. Y'all going in on him. Oh man. But hey, at the end of the day, I know he wasn't everybody's favorite, but he was a very good veteran. And and you can make all the jokes you want. It is going to be a guy they have to really try and replace. So going into free agency this week, they really, really, really need to make sure that they can get a good replacement again. There are some options out there. Hunter, DJ Jones in the draft, they're going to look at defensive tackles because you need depth. That's the other thing is you can't just have one guy out there. You need depth. Hargrave's getting older. Kinlaw's a free agency. Maybe they free agent. Maybe they bring back Kinlaw on a 1-2 year deal. I think Kinlaw might be coming back because he was healthy. I think the 49ers are going to look at this and say, hey, look, Armstead, he's getting hurt. He's on the way out. But Javon Kinlaw has grinded and now he figured it out. Maybe he's healthy for good. I think the 49ers are going to bring back Javon Kinlaw and he's going to be one of the guys that helps replace Armstead. That's my bold prediction right there. So Ian says, I don't see another team paying him the same. I agree. So someone said he's a Jet or a Texan. I could kind of see that. So Kawakami hinting this isn't set in stone. He's gone. Well, Kawakami has had a lot of bad takes lately. So we'll see. Again, it's not officially official, but it seems like it's kind of officially official. But we'll see. We'll until it's officially official, like a referee whistle. I guess Kawakami's right. It's not 100%, but I could not. There's no way that I see them walking back and fixing this. That would be that would be even more surprising than them releasing him. Like all of a sudden have a change of heart and Armstead saying, you know what, actually hold that thought. I'll take whatever you want to give me. I think at this point, once a guy decides to become a free agent, I think that's the time that they're like, okay, we gone, he gone, we gone. So would love. Let's see. Does this mean Chase Young will be back? Says Ian. I think Chase has always been a guy that they've really wanted to bring back. There's been reports that they have interest in bringing back Chase Young, but Chase Young, he's an interesting one because it has to be about the right money. And I don't know. He's gonna look at the market and really see what he's gonna be able to get. I don't think the 49ers want to pay Chase Young a lot of money because of the fact of yeah, he was a little inconsistent and I don't know if they want to tie themselves to him. I think they want to give him maybe a 1 year prove it deal. Can you prove yourself to us? Can you come out in here and show us every day that you want to, go out there after the quarterback? He had a good Super Bowl. But I think the 49ers, if they want Chase Young back, it's got to be a 1 year prove it type deal with incentives. But, we'll see. I don't think that 49ers would hate to bring him back because I think there's a lot of people that say, oh, well, they don't want him back. The Niners, I think they would like to bring him back. They like Nick Bosa. They want to keep him happy. Nick Bosa wants his, guy back. So I think they would try to, but it really depends on the market around Chase Young and what he's offering or what he's getting offered. And if 49ers can't match that, they're not gonna go to war to match a Chase Young contract because there's a lot of options out there. But yeah, I would like to see Chase on a 1 year deal. Prove it, come back. We love it. So bring back DJ Jones. I hope they do Supreme. Joey Bosa, that's a guy that's being rumored. Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, two guys that everybody is expecting the 49ers to go after. Everybody's thinking the Chargers are going to release those guys. Jim Harbaugh, again, what did I say earlier? I said when you have a new regime, you get rid of guys that don't fit your system or you need to shed money. And those two guys, Mack and Joey Bosa, are two guys Harbaugh wants to get rid of to shed money. They're not part of his plans. And I think Joey Bosa might take a cheaper deal to stay with the Niners, or to go to the Niners to play with his bro. And Khalil Mack, he's a veteran, but he's coming off a 17 and a half sack season. Crazy, actually. That's actually very crazy. I could see Khalil Mack still commanding pretty decent money. So if it's between Bosa, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, I think the Niners might tend to go towards Bosa. I think he might end up becoming a cheaper option. He's still going to want a lot of money, but at the same time, he might take a discount to play with his bro. That's my take on it. But you never know. And I know a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, you don't know ball. Why do you want Joey Bosa?" Listen, I get it. He's an injury-prone guy. We got rid of Armstead, who we just talked about, who has injuries. But you got to make Nick Bosa happy. If Nick Bosa's happy with having his brother on this team, yeah, absolutely damn right the 49ers would try to bring him in. Are you kidding me? The culture would be fantastic. Like, you can't sit here and tell me you wouldn't be excited if the Niners got Joey Bosa and you see the breaking news notification. Oh my God, Joey Bosa! Like, you'd be hyped up, but at the same time, in the back of your mind, and I would too, I'd be like, can he stay healthy? I don't know, but it would be fun to have the Bosa brothers on the same team. Let's not be. Let's keep it honest with ourselves. Like, you got to be honest to yourself. Like, yes, he's injury prone, but at the same time, yes, it would be fun to have him. Two things could be true. There, that's my point. I would take Khalil Mack though, but he is a little older. But that man is coming off his best season of his career, so maybe he's like a fine wine. Maybe he's like wine, getting better with age. I don't know. Thaddeus says they have to restructure Deebo. I think that's another guy they're going to try to restructure. I really think that they're having the same conversation they had with Deebo that they might have had with Armstead. We'll see what happens. I think Deebo Samuel is going to get a restructured contract. We'll see what happens. This is going to be a very interesting week, guys. It's going to be a very interesting week. My man, Faithful to the Bay, what's good? He says, hit that like button. Sure, y'all hit that like button. 104 you guys in here. What's up, man? Appreciate all the support. I'm just happy that we got some news, whether it's good or not. Running a page like this, doing social media, having a content, page, and creating content and stuff. I actually love when we have news, good or bad. I mean, the bad news sucks because you got to talk about bad news. But I love when we have news to talk about because we can talk to the masses and you guys tune in. You have good thoughts and we have a dialogue. So I love it. You guys are awesome. Every year, we do this and we've been doing it for a long time. So I just love the free agent period. I love, doing the 49ers page, the content. So it's fun. And every year I say that, but I think I'd get bored of it. I'd get tired of it. But in the off season, when there's nothing to talk about, and then all of a sudden we get news, I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. So I appreciate the support out there. I love you guys. So Christian Wilkes is Brandon. Wouldn't mind that. Daddy says I'm nervous. I don't want them to release Debo. I don't think they will, but after today, you never know. I mean, again, you just never know. Ian says the cap hit for Debo means they won't release him. Yeah, and I think if in the grand scheme of things they won't, because think what Debo's cap hit's 28 mil. There's no way they risk cutting him and taking that big of a hit. I think they're gonna keep Debo. I think everything will um, figure out. I think the Niners, without Arik Armstead's money now, and they're gonna save a little bit. I think they're happy and they're gonna be able to sign Brandon Ayuk to his extension. So. Yeah, I agree with what Raymond says. He says the Niners would never release Debo. Kyle Shanahan would never release him. That is his guy. That is his, like, how much this offense needs Debo. Whether you like him or not, there's going to be people that tell you, oh, Debo this, Debo that. Listen, the 49ers offense needs Debo Samuel. Bottom line. Absolutely. Gloomy says you got to be stupid if you think Shanahan will release Debo. I agree with you, man. I just don't, I would never expect Kyle Shanahan to release Debo Samuel. So I'm hope he sticks around. It's weird because all these Niner fans over the last couple of days, couple of weeks, they got to get rid of Debo. They got to do this, da 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 da. And now tonight, after they release Armstead, people are like, I don't. Is it a reality? So it's a little switch up. I like when the Niner fans switch up because you could just like laugh about it. And it's like, man, a week ago you were crying that you didn't like him. Now you're crying that you want him to stay. So it's like, make up your mind. Oh man. Steven says, CMAC says, why are Niner fans shitting on Armstead? Guy was offered to take a huge pay cut or test the market. And he has missed a lot of games in 2 seasons and was a huge cap hit this year. Yeah, I don't think you should hate on Armstead. I get it. There was a lot of fans through the years that hated Armstead. People hated Armstead because of the injuries. And I think people have a grudge against Armstead. This is what I want to bring up. People have a grudge against Armstead over the years because of the fact that the 49ers traded DeForest Buckner. And to this day, Niner fans will hold that over John Lynch's head until the day he died. They are so mad that they got rid of DeForest Buckner and kept Armstead. I guarantee you, this is why people are so mad at Armstead. And a lot of people are happy today. It's like a happy breaking news for a lot of fans because they are so mad still that they kept Armstead over DeForest Buckner. Like, you got to get over it. At this point, if you haven't got over it, it's crazy. But I think that is the reason why people hate on Armstead is because a lot of people never got over that. So that's it. He did get hurt. It sucks. It does suck. But he was a good when he was in there, man. Armstead was such a good player. He was a difference maker in the playoffs. That guy ate. He devoured in the playoffs. I think there's a stat. Let me see the statistical. Hold up. Let me see. There was a stat about Armstead and how good he is in the playoffs. Let me pull this up. Let me show you this. Armstead. Okay, here's some stats on Armstead. So Arik Armstead, and you know what? You guys are gonna hate me. I probably say his name wrong. I get people. Oh, say his name right. I can't pronounce the name. I'm sorry. Armstead's 85.6 pass rushing grade via PFF last season was a career high and ranks 10th all time in 49ers history for sacks. And he's a very versatile guy. So, okay, he has 8 playoff sacks. This is a big stat. He has 8 playoff sacks. It's second all time in franchise history. Armstead's a good player, man. He does get a lot of hate. He is a good player. He does get hurt a lot. So I can understand it. He's a good player. But he's 31 years old. He's getting older. So I think at the end of the day, overall, the grand scheme of things, this was a smart business decision by the 49ers. So I'll never forget that play against the Cowboys in the playoffs. Yeah, he thought he was going to get like or he thought he was going to like step out, so he didn't get the sack. He thought he was going to get like a penalty or something. I remember that. I don't know. Best Armstead performance. Green Bay Packers in the snow in Lambeau. That guy tore Aaron Rodgers a new one. Like he ripped that game up. He had 2 sacks, I think. I remember that game. Armstead was cooking that day. He was cooking against Green Bay in 2021. That was a fun playoff game. It was a defensive struggle, and Armstead's performance was probably the reason the 49ers defense were able to win that game. Um, so yeah, I think his best ever for me was that Green Bay playoff game, 2021. He was cooking. He was cooking. So Jaime says Cowboys might pick him up because their new DC likes to stop the run. There's a lot of teams that could pick up Armstead. Let's be honest. He's a good player. He's going to offer a lot of good teams some flexibility. He's a good run stuffer. Again, if it's my bold prediction, it's probably not a bold prediction because you guys probably have the same one. I think it's going to be Houston or the Jets because they have two coaches that were his defensive coordinator. I mean, that's the easy guess. But there's a lot of teams that could take him. Eagles, somebody mentioned the Cowboys. He can go to a division rival and give us the real bird. So, how do I, Debbie? This is a good question. How do you think the team is reacting to this news? I think they're probably a little shooken up. I mean, they understand it's a business. I think they all understand these moments are going to happen. They've been around it for many years. George Kittle, Deebo, all these guys, they're no strangers to losing players and teammates, et cetera, et cetera. So I think they understand. But at the same time, you're going to have players that are going to be like, wow, I think the defensive room, the defensive linemen specifically, like, I think they're all like, wow, that's big. Because again, what I say earlier is he was a captain, he was a leader, longest tenured guy. He was there for the regime before. He bridged the gap to the years after. Yeah, I think that they probably feel a certain way that man, we couldn't keep our captain, and nobody. At the end of the day, it's a business. Nobody's ever going to be locked in. You can't sit there and say I'm always going to be on this team. It's a business decision every single year, and there's always one big one. And now we've had Arik Armstead be part of 2 big business decisions in his career. So my man JC says I met him in person, and he's not that friendly. I mean, I don't know when you met him. I don't know if you met him at the game or whatever. I'm not going to speak on that, but everybody has their interactions with players. I've never met Armstead. I've met a lot of players, and all the players I've met were fantastic. So that's all I'll say. 17 million cap sales. UY says, do you think we should sign somebody this offseason or draft someone? I don't know. Yeah, we definitely, if you're asking about defensive line, absolutely think both. We should drop the defensive line because they need depth. And you also need to make sure you get a good player to replace Armstead. He was a starter. And I think, let me pull this up. This will give you, this will give you a little update on who's available, a defensive lineman, right? The 49ers have Javon Hargrave under contract. He's an interior D lineman, and Kalia Davis. Those 2 guys are under contract. Nobody else is under contract on the defensive line. So they got to sign a guy in free agency this week. So they absolutely have to replace Armstead. And bottom line, you also need a draft player. So defensive line is a huge need for this team. I know everybody's going to tell you it's offensive line, and it is to upgrade. But the 49ers this week, by re-signing Ben Barch, I know it's not a big name, Colton McKivitz, like those moves are telling me, like, okay, they have enough depth that they can go look and see maybe in the draft if they're going to be able to find an elite tag. I just don't know if there's elite linemen the 49ers see out there. I think they're going to be content with this offensive line. We're not going to be happy. I don't think they're going to make a massive upgrade. I think they're happy with what they have. And I think that defensive lineman is going to be their major, um, you know, move here. They have to get an edge rusher because, again, Drake Jackson coming off surgery. Clelin Ferrell's a free agent. He's coming off a knee surgery. Armstead, he gone. You got Randy Gregory's a free agent. Chase Young's a free agent. Javon Kinlaw's a free agent. They don't have anybody. Kalia Davis, who really hasn't played much, and Hargrave. They're your defensive linemen, and Bosa. And then you also got to remember, most of those guys, like I said, are free agents. And then, okay, Robert Beal, the rookie from last year. So that's another guy that's on there. So there's not many defensive linemen on this team. And Kevin Givens is also a free agent. So Niners need to go after defensive linemen, especially after releasing Armstead. So we'll see. Shade says Kinlaw is Armstead's guy. He's not resigning. Good riddance to him too. Matt, that not a bad take. Honestly, maybe Kinlaw doesn't resign because he's going to be a little mad that his boy Armstead is gone. Unless they tell him, hey, now you got the juice, boy. Now they're going to pull him aside, say, yo, Kinlaw, you got the juice now. Now you can be the blueprint. You can take Armstead's spot. So I'm sure they're going to try to coax him. I think they're going to tell him and say, hey, look, man, you can be the dog. I'm sure they're going to have that conversation. But that's not a bad take by Shades, that because Armstead's gone and Armstead was his guy, that Kinlaw won't come back. Not a bad take at all. We'll see. Kinlaw is a depth piece. Absolutely. He's not going to be expensive. Are we keeping Ayuk's NFL edits? I hope we are. I'm pretty sure we are. I would be surprised if the 49ers don't keep Brandon Ayuk. But we'll see. Let's see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it for tonight. Unless there's more breaking news, stay tuned. We will be live if there's more breaking news. I just want to say I appreciate you. Thank you to Arik Armstead. He gave this team many good years of hard sweat and tenacity, and he battled out there. So it's going to be the end of the Arik Armstead era, and the new longest tenured 49er. What is it? Who's the longest tenured Niner now? Is it Kyle Juszczyk and George Kittle? Is it? I think they're the longest tenured Niners now. Kittle and Juszczyk. Would you look at that? Wow. End of an era, ladies and gentlemen. The end of the Armstead era. Yeah, George Kittle and Kyle Juszczyk are probably, because Kyle Juszczyk he came in the 49ers during their first free agency run in 2017, and they drafted George Kittle that year. So Kittle and Juice. Wow. Unbelievable. You guys have a good rest of your night. I love you. Go Niners. Let's pray it's a good week, because I know my mentals will not be good if we have a bad week. And I know you guys' mentals won't be if we have a bad week. So let's see, man. Y'all have a good one. I love you. Go Niners. I don't know. That's it. That's it for tonight. Make your predictions on the comments. Again, I don't know if you saw earlier, but my predictions are the 49ers are going after Khalil Mack, DJ Jones, and a cornerback. Those are my predictions. Y'all have a good one.